The story suggested by this title points toward a hidden truth buried in the turbulent world of 1852 New Orleans, a city where beauty, power, and exploitation often collided in ways that left permanent marks on everyone involved. It hints at a man whose appearance drew attention far beyond what was considered ordinary, creating whispers among traders, buyers, and citizens. Yet behind that attention lay a secret no one could imagine, a truth that threatened the foundations of the system that tried to claim him. In a bustling city where markets were loud and crowded, his presence caused a momentary silence, as though the entire room paused to observe him. People rarely reacted this way, even in a place where human lives were unjustly put on display. Some wondered if he was born into enslavement or taken from a life far different from what the auction platform forced upon him. His calm posture carried a quiet strength that unsettled those who believed they held power over him. Rumors spread quickly about who he really was. Some said he came from a community known for its artists and scholars, suggesting he carried an education far above what the auctioneers understood. Others whispered that he belonged to a family of influence and had been captured during a conflict, stripped of everything but the dignity in his eyes. None of these stories could be confirmed, but the uncertainty only fed the mystery. The auctioneer tried to turn the attention into profit, boasting loudly, but even he seemed unsure how to describe the man without revealing too much. His uncertainty made the crowd lean in closer, trying to listen, trying to detect something unsaid. Behind every strained word, there seemed to be an effort to hide something that could change the entire event. Those observing felt an unusual discomfort, as if looking at someone who didn't belong in that cruel environment. His expression did not show fear, yet it did not show arrogance either. It held a steady defiance, gentle but unbreakable, making the crowd feel like they were witnessing something they had no right to witness. For a moment, their own conscience flickered. There were tense murmurs that he understood every language spoken around him. A few believed he recognized people in the crowd, even though he gave no sign. This only added to the sense that he had a past far removed from what the auction assumed. Some feared that if he spoke, the truth would expose the injustice of the entire system. A wealthy buyer approached the stage, trying to examine him, but the man's steady gaze made the buyer hesitate. It was rare for anyone in this situation to challenge buyers with silence, yet that silence felt heavier than any shouted protest. It created the impression that he possessed knowledge that others were desperate to suppress. Eventually, someone from the back stepped forward, someone who seemed more interested in secrecy than ownership. He whispered urgently to the auctioneer, prompting a sudden shift in the atmosphere. The crowd noticed the tension but could not decipher its meaning. The event felt as though it was slipping out of the auctioneer's control. The auctioneer abruptly changed the tone of the sale, speaking faster, avoiding eye contact with the audience. People sensed fear behind his voice, though he tried to mask it with forced confidence. Whatever had just been said to him, it altered everything. The mystery around the man deepened. Some attendees began to suspect that the man's identity could create trouble for anyone who tried to buy him. Perhaps his secret involved a lineage, a political connection, or a personal history that those in power wanted erased. The possibility made the crowd step back, unsure whether involvement would bring profit or disaster. As the bidding slowed, the man remained still, watching each person with quiet awareness. His presence alone seemed to speak volumes about resilience and the refusal to be diminished. That quiet resistance made him unforgettable to witnesses, who later struggled to explain what they felt during the event. Whispers filled the room again, now mixed with fear and fascination. People questioned whether the auction would even continue or be halted entirely. It was clear that something about him challenged the entire idea of ownership itself, something the auction could not fully contain. Suddenly, an order came from outside, delivered by riders wearing official insignia. No one knew whether they were there to protect him, to hide him, or to claim him for political reasons. The uncertainty created a moment of complete confusion, freezing everyone in place. The auction ended abruptly, leaving the crowd with more questions than answers. The man was taken away quietly, without explanation, escorted by those who clearly knew more about his identity than anyone in the marketplace. The silence with which they moved made the event feel like the ending of a secret too dangerous to reveal publicly. In the days that followed, those who witnessed it tried to piece together the story, but the truth faded behind contradictions, rumors, and missing records. The impossible secret remained, tied to a man whose quiet strength broke through the noise of a cruel system, leaving behind a mystery that New Orleans would never fully solve.